Well, a rain-curtailed game, a shortened target, 152 in 15. And South Africa looked like they did not break a sweat. They were always in the game, always on top of it. They seemed to come out to bat with a certain mood. Reza Hendricks, 49 of 27. Aid Markram contributing as well, 30 of 17. David Miller, 17. Fekle Kuayo towards the end, a couple of big shots, finishing the job for South Africa. The second T20 international won by the home team by 5 wickets, bracket DLS, with 7 balls to spare. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Manish Batavia, Zaheer Khan and Parthiv Patel in the house. Rain-curtailed games, batting second, pretty much on all occasions. So 9 out of 10 times the batting team would have a certain advantage.
Yeah, you've seen that. Like teams prefer to bowl first, especially in the rain-affected games, so that they know exactly what's the kind of target Duckworth Lewis is going to bring for them, and usually we've seen it works. With rain around, you've seen the outfield was wet. You've seen bowlers also struggling. You've seen in the first innings there was some help on offer for the spinners, and that is something which was not on offer because the conditions settled down. You've seen with the rain around, the pitch at times settles down. So that was one challenge which Indian bowlers had. But on top of that, I think the intent, the approach by the South African batters has to be credited here. To secure this kind of a run chase in style. Reza Hendricks was superb at the top, but every batter you've seen was walking out to bat with that intent of taking the bowlers on. And they were ready to let go of few wickets in the process, which did happen. Klaasen was a classic example of that. It was actually looking like situation might get tricky if they continue with that kind of approach and bowlers get wickets. But on the whole, I think South African batters need to be credited for the way they put up a show.
Yes, when those 3 wickets fell in that post-power play phase, the cynics said, no, you can't get this wrong from here. You've got a great start. But South Africa just seemed to come out to bat with a lot of belief. Conditions aside, the intent was they still got to score those runs, right?
Yeah, they did. And if you look at the innings progression again, in first power play they were playing with 13 and 0, and I think that probably sealed the run chase for them. And after that, those 3 wickets didn't matter that much, but still something which Zach spoke about, the intent. They were still going at 10 and over. So I think that is the reason why they were always ahead of the game. Even if the wickets were falling around, they did not have that pressure of run rate, or they didn't have to score 10 and overs or 11 in an over. So that is the reason why they could actually win this game with 7 balls to spare. But yeah, I think there were some incredible shots here. I mean, we've seen those sixes where we were just talking about some huge going out of the ground. But yeah, you got to give credit to South Africa. Indian bowlers did try really well. I thought Siraj bowled well. His figures may not show that, but I thought he was bowling really well. Slightly unlucky to start with. First over was getting 2 boundaries which were edged outside the off stump. But that can happen in this format. But got to give credit to South African batters the way they've approached this inning.
Yes, Temba Bavuma, their captain in that ODI World Cup, rested from the white ball leg of this India tour of South Africa. But when Reza Hendricks plays the way he did today, they're not going to miss Bavuma at all.
Yeah, and also Markram, the way he handled the whole playing 11. Today you could see that the intent, the approach was completely different. He himself led from the front, the way he batted. So yes, Reza Hendricks is certainly going to give that hard time to the selectors and show that consistency, what he has been showing. Because whatever opportunities he's got in the World Cup, also he made use of those. And he's in superb form. If a opener is giving you this kind of a start, batting with this kind of intent, is certainly going to help the team. So something for South African think tank to think about and make sure that he has given a long rope.
8 fours and a 6. There's this merciless side to his batting. Just
it was
really bludgeons it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, some of the shots which we talked about. I mean, the 6 which is hit, that was some shot going across the line, hitting with that power. But which was very evident about his batting today was the bat speed. I think that is the reason why he could generate that kind of power. Every time ball went in the gap, it was going with the rocket speed because of the kind of bat speed he's had, and he was timing it brilliantly. And as Zach mentioned, when you are in good form, when you know that every opportunity, whenever it has come his way, he's made it count. And today also, I think obviously 15 overs, so you knew that you had to go from basically ball one.
Yep.
I think that gives you a bit of a license also, that gives you a bit of a free hand that, even if we get out, we had to go for it. And in process, but there were some outstanding shots played by Riza.
They were going really well at 42 in 2.4, and that silly run out got the wicket of Breedske when Jadeja was bowling the third one. Markram comes in and he looked like he'd been batting for a long time. That first four to the right of mid-on, I think, just perhaps showed us that he came in with a certain clarity of thought and intent.
Yeah, it shows that what kind of ability this player has, and also he's able to muscle the ball around with so much ease that from outside of stump he's actually just using his strong wrist, using the power to get the ball across, and that six also which he hit shows that he's got tremendous power. He's a really good player, but I think someone who is going to enjoy the responsibility of captaincy as well. He's very calm, composed, and you need a leader like that. So I think, for South Africa cricket, if they're continuing with him in this format, surely they will see the results also in a better way coming their way.
Yes, he started really well, winning the SA20 for the Sunrisers Eastern Cape. I think it was, and that 54-run partnership between Markram and Riza Hendricks, in a sense, sort of sealed the deal, because by the time Markram went, they had done the hard job of coming closer to the target.
Yeah, they did. I think the 54 of 30 balls. Again, we're talking about the intent which both the Riza Hendricks and Aiden Markram showed. Plus, the Breedske also scored 17 of 7 balls. So, when your first three batters bats the way they've batted with the strike rate which they've batted, I think it was always going to be finishing job had to be done by someone. And then Petlekwayo came in and finished it off. David Miller, I thought he also played really well. He took responsibility, because around that time there was a bit of a tricky situation where South Africa had lost those 3 wickets. But you got to give credit the way they have chased it down, and that is something which India will have to think about. If your bowler has gone for few runs, if you don't have that another option of sixth bowling option, in today's case where Arshdeep went for 40 of 2 overs, so you did not have that sixth bowling option. So it was always going to be difficult for Indian bowlers to defend that total.
Now, on the 19th of this month, we're going to have all-day long coverage of the IPL auction on Cricbuzz. How about we give you a little sample of what's in store on that day? Riza Hendricks, base price, 50 lakh rupees.
I don't have to worry about it. See, obviously the eyes will be there. Everyone would be watching this. South African players, especially when we had mentioned in pre-show that every South African player who has gone in different leagues and have done really well. So I'm sure there are all 10 teams. They would be looking at someone like Riza Hendricks who can bat with the way he can bat. He likes that bounce. He's someone looks really free-flowing batter. So maybe if it's his day, I think he might just get a big payday for him. But thankfully, I don't have to worry about it. I'm okay.
Yes, Parthiv Patel is going to be chilling and watching the auction, and maybe we'll get his views on the same at some stage on Cricbuzz a little later in the coming weeks. Now, the Indian bowling. Ravindra Jadeja came into bowl in the third over. In the last two, Jadeja bowled that second last over. You reckon the captain could have done anything different? It does become tougher, right? With 15 overs, it does become very different. In the first 5, he had used one each of the 5 bowlers they had today.
Look, it's just the approach of the batters. Bowlers were being put under pressure. So as a captain, you try to be proactive. How can you change things around? And you've seen with Surya's captaincy, he's always been going to the spinners and change the pace of the game. Today wasn't the day for bowlers to be able to executing those kind of plans. Kuldeep is not someone who bowls regularly in the power play, so it was tough on him to bowl that first over. Bishnoi is someone who was more comfortable, so you will see in the next match maybe they will be thinking on those lines. Maybe bringing in Bishnoi might help. He's the bowler in form, can give you overs in the power play, can give you overs in the middle. So that option they'll definitely look at. But generally, I think it was just a tough day for bowlers, and Surya tried rotating things around, and that's where Parthiv's point is very crucial one, because you need that sixth bowling option, especially when things are going tough. If you want to change things around, maybe someone else coming in bowling one or two overs will help you just create a chance for yourself, the outside chance. But with five bowlers, at times it does get difficult to rotate bowlers around.
Is Arshdeep an area of concern for Indian cricket in general, Indian white ball cricket?
See, I mean, he's been playing. He's done well in IPL. He's done well for India. He's been highest wicket taker since probably when he's made his debut after the. So, I mean, Arshdeep. Even when he was playing in Australia series where he struggled a bit today, I thought to start with, when players came in with free-flowing mindset, just a 15-over game, they were always going to attack him. There is no doubt about it. So they obviously there is. I don't think it's a concern, but obviously Indian bowlers, I mean Indian cricket team would want a left armer who can bring it in. You know, that's always a luxury, and that's always the best bowler to have. We've seen him getting out Babar Azam first ball when he was swinging it in. So a worry is the in swing which is not getting. I think that is something which he would be thinking, and I'm sure the bowling coach and the team would be thinking that he wants that ball to come in. I think if it's not coming in, so that means there's something where he needs to work on.
Now there were 25 dot balls in this second innings. South Africa won with 7 balls to spare, so that's 32, 25 plus 7, 32. And that means that these 154 runs were scored off just 58 deliveries. Is it a case of too many boundary balls?
Not really. I think it's just good batting.
Okay.
You know, you've seen, and the conditions. One mustn't forget that after the rain, you've seen there's a lot of water on the outfield.
Yep.
The seam was getting wet, the ball was getting wet. So it's just like having a day you've seen so many times in cricket in this format. When there's dew, the bowlers do struggle.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of those kind of combination. To add to that, 15 overs, 10 wickets in hand, 10 runs per over. You will any day prefer it to 180 or 190 to be chasing down, because it's not just about 30 added runs. It's about that much pressure on batters taking the risk options. You have 5 wickets down and you have another 30 runs to get. Bowlers also have that chance of taking one more wicket, but that's how the game goes.
Yeah.
You don't have control over these things. The credit has to be given to the South Africa batters also. They showed intent. They chased it down with positive, aggressive mindset and intent, which worked for them today.
Tabraiz Shamsi has been named man of the match. Picked up just the 1 wicket, but gave away only 18 runs in his 4 overs. Award well deserved.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when you're talking about 180 and we're talking about 150 being chased down in 14th over, so you had to give it to a bowler, someone. Everyone has gone for runs. We've spoken about it, how difficult it was to bowl in these conditions, and someone who's given only 18 runs, so well deserved, and good to see that the bowlers getting that man of the match. Otherwise, usually we see that someone like Hendricks played an outstanding inning, though it wasn't a 50, but still, usually the man of the match award goes to into batter's side, but obviously Tabraiz Shamsi, the one who actually came in, bowled good overs. He came in and took wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav. Otherwise, it could have been 200 instead of 180. So I think, obviously, he was someone who's changed the game in South Africa's favour in first inning. So well deserved award for Tabraiz Shamsi.
Right. The first game washed out. The second game rain curtailed, but then South Africa winning with DLS on their side as well. So the last and third T20 international to be played at the Wanderers, the beautiful Wanderers in Johannesburg. That's where these two teams will be. Tomorrow is a travel day, and day after is this third T20 international. Now, 4 players returned to the India squad and they made the 11 straight away. And I'm talking about Shubman Gill, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav and Mohammad Siddharth. Now, this is the squad of 17 players. The last T20, Zach, what are the changes you'd look at? You spoke about the possibility of looking at Bishnoi as well. Him aside, what are the other changes you're looking at?
So I think
Shreyas Iyer as well.
Deepak Chahar as well. They might consider him. It just gives you that bit more balance with the bat also. That means at the top you can have more freedom with batters. So that's something which they might think about. Arshdeep has looked a little off color, so I think that one place They might debate. Another place which we already discussed, which was Kuldeep and Bishnoi. That's something which they'll be definitely debating hard.
Parthiv, for you, changes?
I think to me, one change, Arshdeep Singh, definitely. I think, as Zach spoken, even I've said about it. I think he did look off color, so maybe try and get Deepak Chahar in, who will swing the ball initially and can bat at number 8 also. So I think that change. Little bit harsh on Kuldeep Yadav. I think just he came in, just played one game. Yes, Bishnoi did really well. So it is a very difficult thing to do when you have only 2 games to play with, and you whether you want to keep on changing or not. And that's a call which captain and coach has to take. But to me, I think Arshdeep is definite change which India would be thinking.
Nothing much with the bat. Shreyas Iyer is there as well.
I mean, you can't do much. As I said, what to do? I mean, Yashasvi Jaiswal got out on 0. I mean, what do you tell him? It could have been a 4. I mean, same with Shubman Gill, same with Tilak Verma. So it will come down to the thought process more than the performance. I think if they are thinking, if they are saying that we want to try out few combinations, then you can bring in anyone and you can take out anyone. So it'll be a thought process. We'll come to know with what thought process Indian team's think tank is thinking.
Yes, the number of players there are and the number of players in the active pool in Indian cricket are so many that India could well have 2 teams touring different countries and yet have a pretty good 11 on the park. Now, for South Africa, 2 big names will be missing. They will be rested to start preparing for the red ball leg of India's tour, and that's Marco Jansen and Gerald Coetzee will not be available. And so, what are the changes you would make? Would you maybe look at an Andre Berger, who's left-arm pacer? What would you do, Zach?
I think so. They'll have to bring in one pacer for sure. The other name they will discuss is Keshav Maharaj. Is someone who they'll definitely think about because today also Markram bowled 3 overs and the pitch was offering some assistance to the spinners. So they might go in that direction is what my gut feel is.
Yeah, I think they obviously have to bring in 2 bowlers because both of their main bowlers are going out of the side. So I think Keshav Maharaj and Andre Berger, I think these are the 2 changes I'm seeing. Batting wise, I don't think they're going to make any changes. They don't need to make any kind of change there.
Yes, so remember, both teams after this third T20 will have only 3 T20 internationals left. India play a 3-match series against Afghanistan at home in January, and South Africa play against West Indies just before that T20 World Cup in the USA and the West Indies. But for this last T20 international, quickly, gentlemen, players to watch out for, 1 each.
Well, I think for Indian team, you would want Yashasvi to just have the kind of start which we've been seeing from him.
Yep.
I think that's really going to set the platform. For South Africa, I think Reza Hendricks should continue with the form which he has been showing.
Yep, for you?
I think to me Tilak Verma, he batted well today. Obviously to me he's someone who's very talented. So my pick was also Yashasvi Jaiswal, but now that Zach had said Yashasvi Jaiswal, so I'm going with Tilak Verma. And for South Africa, Hendricks Markram, he looked in good touch. He comes in, bowls couple of overs also. So Hendricks Markram for South Africa.
Well, Parthiv Patel did help your cause by giving you a big clue on what the answer to today's Joy Factor question could be. I hope some of you worked on that clue and got the answer. This is a question, quick reminder. Which Indian Test captain scored a century on his first-class debut in Karachi? Before I give you the answer, here's a clue from me as well. Now, this is the second time that both Indian openers got out on a duck. Today, of course, it was Jaiswal and Gill. And in the year 2016, it was Rohit Sharma and the batter who is the answer to today's Joy Factor question. You know the answer.
I know the answer. I said Ajinkya Rahane.
It is Ajinkya Rahane. He played for Mumbai versus the Karachi Urbans, I think it was. Yes, it was a game played in Karachi in September 2007. It was Mumbai's tour of Pakistan. Quite surprising because I had no memory of this one. Sahil Kukreja 100, Ajinkya Rahane 143. I think there were 4 first-class debutants. Ajinkya Rahane was one of them. And the match was, of course, drawn because the Mumbai team batted only once, scored 623 for 6. Who's the winner of today's Joy Factor question? Ritankar Bandyopadhyay, well done. You can get a thumbs up from Joy, and I'm not even going to Zaheer Khan because I know what happens every time I go to him for a reaction. I'm told to.
It's only for you.
Yes, only.
It's only for me. Okay. Moving on. We're done. We are done. We will see you day after for the third T20 International. Zaheer Khan, Parthiv Patel will be back. Make sure you do as well on Cricbuzz Live. For now, it's goodbye and good night.